This is a follow-up video to the previous video on why the Liberals won and why Poilievre should never be the Prime Minister. In this video, we are going to talk about Pierre is a dangerous politician. We are going to give you the reasons why I think personally, and of course the majority of Canadians, why we think that Pierre is a dangerous politician. Poilievre has controversial policies and he has associated himself with extremist group and extremist individuals, which we are going to go through. And he has divisiveness, and also there is a lack of civility and decency. And in the previous video, I showed a little bit of a video which he was mocking our elected officials. We are talking of elected people who were democratically elected. He posted an 11 minutes video, which in this video, I'm showing it in full right now.
Vote the motion, Mr. Trudeau.
There seems to be an overabundance of wacko events in Canada these days, but who's behind them?
Does capitalist democracy still work? That's the question being posed around kitchen tables.
But what exactly is a wacko? Is there an accepted general definition? According to vocabulary.com, a wacko is a person who is eccentric or mad. Merriam-Webster equates wacko with psycho. Dictionary.com says a wacko is a strange or odd person. There's probably nothing to fear from most wackos. They often serve as an odd form of entertainment. But what happens if they get into positions of power? What happens if they run a government? But is the Liberal government of Canada really comprised of wackos? Let's start with their leader, Justin Trudeau. He invented a new economic doctrine, wackonomics. The first rule of wackonomics: no math allowed.
The economy is not number. The economy is...
Rent is a gas, food, and home prices numbers. Before wackonomics, humanity was stuck with old-fashioned equations equals what people pay. Pythagoras said, numbers rule the universe, not to worry. Wackonomics overturns the...
To handle their numbers and little populations. You'll forgive me if I don't think about monetary policy. We're focused on Canadians. I'll let the bankers worry about the economy. But if you use your credit card to go back to school, or if you use your credit card, you go into debt to build an expansion on your house, that is how you grow a strong economy.
And if you don't like the high taxes and inflation, you just need to get with the vibes.
A lot of economists have been talking about the vibe session.
And maybe don't forget to say a little prayer.
What do you make of that, Kristen?
I would say amen to raising tax.
That doesn't work. Here's freelance financial advice to pay your bills.
Canadian families are looking really closely at all of their expenses. Let's cut that Disney Plus subscription.
And the budget will balance itself.
Then there is the vocabulary.
Maternal love is the love that's going to change the future of mankind. So we'd like you to...
We like to say people kind, not necessarily mankind.
Trudeau even reinvented the future of quantum mechanics with his own cerebral thoughts.
We have to rethink elements as basic as face and time.
In this wacko world, attempting to ban things has become second nature. Here are a few things wackos want to ban: gas-powered cars, plastic straws, and hunting rifles.
There are some guns, yes, that we're going to have to take away from people who were using them to hunt.
The good news is wackos like Trudeau have no problem legalizing hard drugs, even make the taxpayer buy opioids for you.
We've also ensured better supply of artificial opiates.
But remember, people, if you're going to snort hard drugs, do it in a sustainable way without a plastic straw. So how do these wackos look at the rest of the world? What do they really admire?
The level of admiration I actually have for China, because their basic dictatorship.
In exchange for his admiration, Beijing's dictatorship gave Trudeau an endearing nickname.
We're quite proud the Prime Minister has been given a font nickname in China,
Which is?
he is called Pudong, which I believe means potato, and I can't say the Chinese, little potato, because his father, Pierre Elliott Pudong, was senior potato.
Back at home, it takes a team to make a wacko world. Trudeau's closest ally, Chrystia Freeland, knows the struggle of commoners who drive to work every day.
A fact that still shocks my dad is I don't actually own a car because I live in downtown Toronto. I'm like I don't know, 300 meters from the nearest subway. I walk, I take the subway.
While driving around in rural Alberta last week, Christia Freeland was pulled over for speeding.
Those shocks my dad is I don't actually own a car because I live in downtown Toronto.
Then there's Carolyn Bennett, Trudeau's former health minister, who was the leading architect of creating government-funded opioid programs for addicts. This is the person Trudeau had running our healthcare program.
Stop me insane.
Now the job goes to this wacko, Mark Holland. It's not unusual for him to get pissed off and go on wacko tirades.
I have spent my entire life, as you have, fighting for the good in this world. And for you to accuse a good person of not caring about human life, shame on you.
Good thing he knows how to let out all that energy.
I was the first health minister, probably the first member of parliament, who talked about the importance of pleasure in sex. What does it mean if sex isn't affirming of who you are and isn't pleasurable, if you don't have that as a family value?
This is a man who really knows how to communicate with people.
The fact that we can't talk about our elbows and knees the same way we talk about our penises and vaginas is terrible.
Still, with all the love and sex and body parts, there are built-up terrible memories of road trips.
You can take a summer fun time vacation where you're locked in a car for 10 consecutive days, nonstop with no bathroom breaks, and the Conservatives have a plan for you to have that summertime fun. And the cost? Give up the future of the planet, right? Don't worry, kids, about climate change. Don't worry about taking action on the planet. Enjoy your tours in the car and let the planet hurt.
And guess who flew to Paris this summer to see the Olympics?
I had an opportunity for my mom's 80th birthday to be away and be in the Olympics.
Speaking of environmental hypocrisy, Trudeau's former Minister of Climate Change, Catherine McKenna, mastered the art of deceptive politics.
Some real advice. I said that if you actually say it louder, we've learned in the House of Commons, if you repeat it, if you say it louder, if that is your topic point, people will totally believe it. People will totally believe it.
This wacko even said that being opposed to Trudeau's carbon tax makes you an arsonist. When she left, a new wacko replaced her. The current Minister of Climate Change, Stephen Guilbeault, has always been a lifelong Liberal.
Greenpeace is climbing the world's tallest building today to tell the world not to be fooled by the Liberal government.
Wait, no, socialist.
I'm a liberal and a proud socialist, Mr. Speaker.
Stephen Guilbeault spent part of his adult life as a radical environmental activist, known for engaging in high-profile stunts that led to multiple arrests. By his early 30s, Guilbeault had climbed the CN Tower to protest against Liberal environmental policies and scaled the roof of the Premier of Alberta's residence. Today, he remains an avid
As in life, the only two guarantees are taxes and death.
who has promised to end all road building in Canada. Safe to say, this wacko has earned his boss's respect.
I have tremendous faith and confidence in my environment minister.
Next, we have Seamus O'Regan. He's one of Trudeau's closest confidants.
I wouldn't be doing this unless I felt I could do something.
When Canadians were worried about paying higher taxes for home heating during winter, he had this to say.
I am sick and tired of people talking about the cold winter and what we're doing.
Trudeau Liberals are also sick and tired of free speech. Trudeau's Justice Minister, Arif Honey, introduced censorship. Bill C-63. If it becomes law, they will arrest you for future crimes. Even famous Liberal author Margaret Atwood called Trudeau's censorship laws creeping totalitarianism. Arresting someone for saying the wrong thing, that is wacko. Arresting them for something they have not yet even said, that is wacko on steroids. Have dinner plans. With food prices up 37% faster in Canada than in the US, and the quadrupling carbon tax set to raise them higher, wackos have ordered up a meal for you. Crickets. Trudeau gave $9 million of your tax dollars to a company that is building the world's largest edible cricket factory. The company is now firing workers and losing your money. As to where your tax dollars went, crickets. How do all these wackos end up in one government?
And a Liberal member of Parliament was caught without clothes during the virtual House of Commons.
They share a common need for validation from their leader, Justin Trudeau, the patriarch of wackos. It's a classic case of birds of a feather flock together. As an adult, Trudeau dressed in blackface so many times he lost count. At 29, while he was a teacher and yearbook instructor, Trudeau made sure his blackface photos were included in the school yearbook. These actions suggest a lack of awareness or concern for incompetence that is a trait seemingly reflected in his leadership and the decisions of all the wackos around him. With these people in power, anything is possible. And so the saga continues with a wacko government that mirrors the eccentricities of its leader as Trudeau attempts to hold on to power. The most outrageous moment for these wackos may still be on the horizon.
Yeah.
Let's also now look at the reasons why we think that Pierre Poilievre is a dangerous. Pierre Poilievre is a dangerous politician. I'm not saying he's a dangerous individual, but as a politician, he is dangerous. You need to be very careful to trust him with the highest office of the land, the office of the Prime Minister. He has not committed to the new programs of pharmacare. He has not committed to that program. He has never said that he's going to keep it. Pierre Poilievre has voted against the National School Food Program. Pierre did not commit keeping a $10 a day daycare. If he is elected Prime Minister, he might cut it off. Pierre Poilievre has ties to the right-wing extremists on both sides of the border. There is a picture of him shaking hands with the founder of a group, which is an extremist group, or it's a white supremacist group. When the picture circulated around the social media, when he was asked about it, he said that he doesn't do a background check on people who come to his rallies. But when he was told about that guy, this is what this guy stands for. Would you denounce him? He refused to denounce him. So we don't know his relationship with that guy. During the occupation of the downtown core by the truckers, members of a group, this group were part of that demonstration. Most of them joined the truckers who came downtown. Most of them were part of that. And Pierre himself personally delivered coffee and donuts to that group. The truckers who were demonstrating against wearing of masks and vaccine mandate, he personally delivered coffee and donuts to them. And the members of this group were part of that occupation, were part of the truckers. During the attempted assassination of now the American president, he said that he was happy. We are not condoning the assassination. We don't want anybody to be assassinated. But himself now, he went on to say he was happy that the gunman was killed. That is a misguided kid who acted alone. Why would you be happy that misguided kid has lost his life? It would have been better that he apprehended and have a due process than have his day in court and maybe give his reasons why. I don't know why he was happy about loss of human life. He joined a fundraiser to get a far-right book in better school. Let's keep on. He has been supported. I talked about the dialogue extremist. He has shook hands with Jeremy Mackenzie, the founder of this group, Diagolon. There is a picture of him. It's still circulating in the social media, shaking hands with him. And when he was asked about it, he says he doesn't do a background check on those who come to rallies. Now, the members of the media told him about the guy and says, this is what he stands for. This is what he believes in. Would you denounce him? He says, no, I wouldn't bother. He threatened women's right to choose, women's right to abortion. He threatened that right. His caucus was introduced a petition to limit access to abortion. He wants to deny women the right to make their choice. My body, my choice. And he wants to stand on their way. He voted against aligning Canadian laws with the UNIDRIP. It stands for United Nations Declaration Rights on Indigenous People. He voted against aligning Canadian laws with this. As I said in the other video, that he said that Aboriginal people should do the value of hard work rather than seeking compensation for the injustice which they suffered during residential school. He wants to ditch environmental and climate change policies and cutting corporate taxes, and of course his controversial position on lock up the criminals indefinitely. I don't know who is advising this gentleman here, Mr. Pierre. The law enforcement regime are the people who look at the black and white of them. I know that you have done this and you have crossed the line, it's against the law. But himself as a politician, he should know that the economic conditions that leads or enables or facilitate crime in society. He's from boss, Mr. Hap. He's a trade economist. He should seek advice from him. And he knows very well. Recently, in this country, when we had a spike in grocery prices, there was also a spike in shoplifting cases. Ask all these grocery chain, they will confirm what I'm saying. Crime doesn't happen in a vacuum. It happens within the context of certain economic conditions. A rise in inflation, it has its own consequences in society. A rise in unemployment, I think was something like, they were saying like 2% rise in unemployment can result in about 1% rise in crime in the Western world. Something like that. It's a bit a long time when I did that stuff. There are certain socio-economic conditions that leads to criminal activities, inequalities, poverty, lack of marketable skills. Poilievre is a politician. His job is to take care of that. Of course, then we make laws. We cannot be a lawless society. And even how much take care of that, there will always be a certain percentage of the society that will cross the lines. And the law will have to take its own course. But it should never be obsessed with locking up criminals and throwing away the keys. It should be obsessed about improving social conditions and improving lives of Canadians so that we all live in peace. And after all, Canada is one of the safest countries in the world. We are unlike the south of the border. Whoever is advising Mr. Poilievre out there, give him the right advice that you don't fight crimes by locking up people indefinitely. No. He has this misguided belief that maybe it's a small group. If we just round them up and lock them up and throw, then boom, the problem solved. That is not the case. As long as those conditions, those economic conditions still exist in society, someone somewhere there will be the next criminal. Criminals are not born. It is the society that makes them. Right. Let's look at who is Pierre Poilievre. He is a 45-year-old man. He has spent 20 years in politics. He's a career politician. Lived in an insulated world of partisan politics among the nation's elite. Paul has never ventured into the private sector or grappled with the real-world complexities that impact ordinary Canadian lives. He is devoid of real-world experience that leaves him prepared for political and economic storms ahead. Poilievre has a bombastic rhetoric, simplistic slogans, insult targeting opponents, a knack for showing divisiveness. He has disdain for environmental rules, antipathy towards mainstream media, and with corporate interest. Canadians need a leader rooted in reality, not one who fuels division, undermines the institution that defines our holistic society. Poilievre is not just risky, but a dangerous politician altogether. Canadians need a better politician. We are in a minority government, although it's a strong minority or just only 3 seats short of majority. But we are in a minority government. The government can fall in time and we can go back to the polls, and God forbid that we don't elect this man. I thank you for watching this video, and please subscribe.